Hello folks, it's been a while since I did my last vinyl and CD update. It was in August. It is beginning to be November now, so I thought it was a good time to do that right now, since I have a whole bunch to show. First of all, there have been people on the streams that I've been on that I wondered what this actually is. And naturally, you put records on it. Perfect for my blog to take photos, and perfect to show records on streams and to show what I'm playing on Facebook and other stuff. So very, very helpful thing. So now let's start to show. Hopefully this will not be too long video. 45s. Starting with the stuff that I bought yesterday actually for 10 cents. We have Grover Washington Jr. Just the Way You Are, cover of the Billy Joel hit single. Lawrence Dance at the B-side. Motown release. Bow Wow Wow. I don't have anything by them, but this was actually really good. Do You Wanna Hold Me from 1983. A lot of percussions in this one. All and Jerry, the breakdance, There's No Stopping Us. Really, really, really groovy. I had a album with this, but it wasn't all that good. But it works in single formats. 1984. Katrina and the Waves. Is That It? Is That It? And it is from 1986. We have Donna Summer. It wasn't all that good actually. Unconditional Love. It is some kind of a follow-up to She Works Hard for the Money that is way better, so this will not most likely stay in the collection. Dr. Hook, I Don't Want to Be Alone Tonight. This is bought earlier. Sharing the Night Together, double A-side from the Pleasure and Pain album. Really great one. This one is not all that good, but I will keep it for my little holder for stuff that are so hilariously bad that it actually is funny. It is discotheque, and from what I understand they are Belgian or something like that. One of the members are Francis Goya, the classical guitar player. And those of you who might know those kind of medley bands like Tight Fit, like Stars on 45, like Jive Bunny, this is for you maybe. Although if those projects at least have taken the refrain so people can sing along with them. Discotheque and the single Intro Disco had taken only the intros of the songs. And the intro is supposed to lead the listener into the melody, which means that when you feel like, oh, this is a great song, now I can sing along with it, and then all of a sudden it changes to another intro. How happy would you be, especially when it comes to Boney M's Daddy Cool, this 8 seconds long. It works maybe when you're having a musical quiz at a gathering or something like that, but it doesn't work as a release. So I don't know how they actually thought when they did this. It's just stupid. Father and Sons, Lovers Rock. This was actually something that we're coming into some 10 cents again. This was actually a single that I first, it was a blind buy. I have no idea what it was. It was actually, I thought from the beginning when I heard it, it was meh, not all that interesting. But when I listened to it one more time, when I was going to write on it on my blog, it actually, it wasn't all that bad actually. It was actually okay. It was actually pretty okay. So I will keep this one. And Lovers Rock, for those who wonders, is reggae style. And I don't find any info about father and sons. It was, if I understand, this was the only thing they released. But it's produced by the Gibson brothers. You know, Que Sera Vida Vida, something like that. They had a huge disco hit in the 70s with that. So they are producers behind it. I don't know if they are more, but this is a New Zealand new wave band called MySex or MySex Computer Games. The music is pretty much like early Talking Heads, maybe some Blondie in it, and it sounds actually good. The only thing that is annoying is the vocalist, who tend to do some hiccup every now and then when he sings, and it's very annoying. But the song itself is, if you can bear with the hiccup singing, it actually works. It's a pretty good song actually. So I will keep this in my 70s 45 collection. We have some Jackie Moore. This is a really great 70s soul disco song from 1979. This Time Baby, and this B-side. So this is actually a really, really great 45. Also blind buy. I had no idea who she was before I bought it. Commodores, Lady You Bring Me Up, from the In Pocket album. We have the Corgis, and the Corgis is the band behind the hit song Everybody's Gonna Learn Sometime. That was from the band's album before this one. This is from the album after that. And when this was released, James Warren here is the vocalist of the Corgis. But he had left the group during the recording. And to credit him somehow, they made this up, James Warren with the Corgis. Even though it's more or less the Corgis, the entire band. That was my big mistake. Actually, really great song. Some jazz 45s, naturally. The Sax Session with Al Coon, with Zoot Sims, with Hank Jones. All legendary jazz musicians. The Return of Redhead, Shout Out, blues for the highbrow and on the mellow side. On Fontana. And we have a Lester Young and a Kansas City Six. Hello Babe, I'm fair to it. Press Got the Rhythm and Linger a While. Classic Jazz Deluxe. Some CDs. We have Tori Amos. Little Earthquakes is the album with Crucify from 1992. We have Yellow, you know, the band with the Race and oh yeah. This is an album from 2009. 2009, so a very newer album that I found for a great price. Not often I find newer Yellow, actually. Going into some jazz, this is Benny Goodman and Jack Teagarden, Big C, and the Big T in NYC. This is actually recordings with Benny Goodman before he had a breakthrough with his orchestra. So this is pretty early Benny Goodman. and very interesting. This label from MCA, the original American Decca Recordings series, is actually really great and delivers normally some really great stuff. So late 20s, early 30s recordings. This is jazz, even though it has a whole lot of soul. It's called acid jazz normally. It is British group British group Incognito that were pretty big in the early 90s. Released some really awesome tracks. And one of the best alongside with brand new heavies and bands like that. But before they released their breakthrough album in 1992, they actually released one album 10 years before that, back in 1981. But that one became pretty much a flop. So they then went on a 10-year-long hiatus. And in 1992, when they had their breakthrough, they re-released this first album on CD. And now I managed to find that. Jazz Funk from 1981. That's going to be very interesting to discover, because I like Incognito in the 90s, but it's going to be interesting to listen to this obscure and forgotten first album. We had Benny Goodman, Here He Comes Again, but in a whole different form. This is Benny Goodman's Collector's Items, Collector's Edition. Benny Goodman plays classical music. He was had a pretty famous recording where he played clarinet quartet of Mozart. But this is what he plays. Leonard Bernstein. He plays Aaron Copland, Igor Stravinsky, Morton Gold, and Bela Bartok. Normally pretty modern jazz modern classical music for me, but it is Benny Goodman plays classical music. It's extremely fun to have. And we have Lester Young, released on Giants of Jazz. It is Lester Young with a whole lot of interesting names that I don't have before. It plays Bop with Howard McGee. Naturally, he plays some with Count Basie, of course, with Nat King Cole, Chico Hamilton, and Bill Coleman. So it's very interesting. Some interesting releases that I don't have before, or I think I don't have before. Now, the huge stack of full-length vinyls. I have all of these to show. Starting with the records that I found yesterday for 10 cents. Yesterday when this is being recorded, that is. And I managed to find, it is a record store that we have here, Vinylstallet, that had their stack of lower priced records that they have a whole bunch and wanted to get rid of. So they lowered it to that section to 10 cents each. And I managed to find some really interesting stuff here. Take the jazz later. We're starting with this Pat Benatar, Precious Time from 1981. This is actually a Spanish release. Fire and Ice, really great song. Promises in the Dark, also really great. So it's going to be very interesting. This one I actually have on cassette, but I wanted to have it on vinyl also, because normally I don't care if I have it on cassette original or vinyl original, but in this case, for 10 cents, I felt like it was, and it's an album that I like extremely much. I felt like, why not? and it's good for the blog if not, but it's I wanted to have it on vinyl because it's such a great one. Device, does the name ring a bell? It's the band that had a one-hit wonder hit with the song Hanging on a Heart Attack, one of the best songs in my opinion of the 80s. It's a really, really great one. What is lesser known is that they actually released this full length 22B3, and they never had any more big hit, and they actually only released this album before Holy Night became a successful composer. She composed the best to first Bonnie Tyler, but most famously Tina Turner. Paul Engelman became a member of Animotion, the later version. And this is actually a really, really great 80s album with tough 80s disco rock style, like Hang On a Heart Attack. But this is a really, really great, sadly forgotten album. That proves that Device were more than just one hit, actually. Now we have an album that actually was a little bit of a risk taker, but I felt like for 10 cents, why not? And it is the MGs, like Booker T and the MGs, but without Booker T. I haven't listened all that much to them. I know, of course, the biggest hits, but this is from 1973, released on Stax, and I felt like, why not give it a try if it released on Stax? So I listened to quick peeks of it, and it I thought it was going to be more tougher album, tougher stuff, more rocker style, but it can be either go either way with this one, but I'm going to give it a try actually. Now, jazz. Teddy Wilson, Stomping at the Savoy with these. Charlie Shavers, Specs Power, Red Norval, Remo Palmieri, really great guitar player, Al L. Hall, with recordings from 1945. Can't get any better for 10 cents. Red Norval, The Band Goes to Town, 1935. This is actually a radio recording, so it is very, very interesting. Sort of live. The only problem is that Red Norval actually plays xylophone, and I prefer when it plays vibraphone, because xylophone sounds more or less like Hawaiian music, and it doesn't fit in 30s jazz, but I can bear with it. This can be very interesting. I have one of these before. This is a continuing of a radio sessions that I have before. The Camel Caravan with Bob Crosby, summer of '39. One of these pretty bizarre releases from Camel Caravan with a whole lot of cigarette commercials. Where they say stuff like, oh, smoke the cigarette, it makes you feel so good. Oh yeah, really. But it's great music, and it's really fun oddity to have. And I have it's a third show and fourth show, and I have first and second since before. And while we're at it, we have more Bob Crosby and his orchestra, the Uncollected, and great series normally, this Uncollected, and this is Bob Crosby's orchestra from the 50s. I never heard Bob Crosby and his orchestra from that late, actually, so it's very, very interesting. We have Nat Gonella and his JorgenS. Nat Gonella, who normally is a British musician, if I'm not wrong. And is a trumpet player, vocalist, little entertainer, So this is Mr. Rhythm Man, 1934 to 1935. My first Nat Gonella album. So as before, I have an album with collection from the label Pacific Jazz, from the recordings from the 50s. And this is from the 60s. So I had, normally 60s jazz is can be both this and that. So it's a little risk taker, but it cost me 10 cents, and I felt like I give it a chance, actually. Because it would be fun if even also this would be great, because the one that I have with the from the 50s was is a really great one. Really fun if this one also. We have here Les McCann, never heard of, but Les Montgomery. We have Jazz Crusaders, that contains members that would later be but only the Crusaders, you know, Street Life, Gerald Wilson, Bugged Skank, and Dizzy Gillespie. So really interesting. Leaving 10 cent now for a while. We have the Dorsey Sinatra and Sessions, Volume 1, February 1940 to July 41. A really nice release. Frank Sinatra I prefer in the early days when he sang real jazz with Tommy Dorsey and with other jazz musicians. And this is a double album set. And not only that, I also managed to find Volume 2, July 1940 to May 41. And this is also a double album set. So $1 for these 8 records total with Dorsey and Sinatra. $1 each. It's a really, really great bargain, in my opinion. Now we're coming to some records that I already shown in a previous video where I flipped records from our record store outside. They had put some records outside, the Dollar Bin records outside, and I flipped through them, and I did it in front of the camera, as you might remember. But I promised that I would show them a little bit closer, so I will. Four Tops live, and recorded live in Detroit, Michigan, 1966. So I have some Four Tops from the 70s that are good. I'm not that huge on 60s soul, but I felt like, why not? It's live, it's soul. Boss Gags, Down Two Then Left, from 1977. We have more jazz, Dizzy Gillespie and D.G. Days, the Savoy Sessions. These Savoy Sessions is really, really great, actually. Double album set, and with stuff that I don't have. I have a lot of Dizzy Gillespie, but no, don't have this one where it plays with, among others, it plays with Stuff Smith on violin. Never heard Dizzy Gillespie with Stuff Smith, and so very, very interesting. A whole lot of stuff that I don't have, actually. And look at this shape, really great for $1. Adam and the Ants, Prince Charming. Really nice, eightfold. I have some Adam and the Ants, but this is the oldest one I have. Cheryl Lynn, a soul singer that I've heard a few times, but never paid that much attention to. But it was a risk taker, so, and it is from 1979. And some quick peeks I listened to it. It is really, really great. She has a powerful voice. The music is really great with both strings and horns and really great groovy stuff. So this sounds very, very interesting. We have a Brazilian album. This is Brazilian singer Simone, that I've heard of before, but this is my first album with her. Show gravado no Canizal M, and the date, so 1979. So this is a live album with Simone, a live Brazilian recording. Soul, G.C. Cameron, that sang for a short while with the Spinners before they switched label, and he stuck along with Motown. So this is Motown release, and I listened to it, and it is really good. It sounds like he tries to be Marvin Gaye-ish style, but it is actually really good album. This Bretty Everett, who is most famous for having the first really hit version of the Shoop Shoop song, the Sheer hit later on. And from what I understand, this is her final album, Happy Endings. And it's actually a really good album. Listen to this one also. It's a really good album that is very relaxing, very smooth, with a whole lot of strings, and she sings good. This is a highly recommended album, actually. Switched on Bach. This is looks pretty low budget, but it actually is an album with Walter Carlos. And yes, he was still Walter here. He hadn't transformed himself to Wendy Carlos yet. And Walter Carlos is the guy who contributed with the classical works for the Clockwork Orange soundtrack. Here he plays Bach on Moog synthesizer. So it's very interesting. We have Tony Scott and his 52nd Street theme. Tony Scott and the All Stars. Really interesting. Tony Scott was a little bit disappointed with 52nd Street, that once was a jazz mecca, where they played a whole lot of jazz, mostly bebop style, but a whole lot of jazz. They wanted to recreate it, so he gathered all of these names, and it is an album that takes you from swingish style all the way down to bebop style, with then Gene Ramey, Red Rodney, and so on, Al Coon. Very interesting album. John Kirby Sextet. John Kirby, who had a really nice chamber jazz band, more known as the greatest little band in the land, and a band that I like really much, so really nice to have this one. The recordings from 1943 to 46. We have Bud Freeman All-Star Orchestra, Midnight at Eddie Condon's, and Bud Freeman, Charlie Shavers, Wild Bill Davis, and so on. This is a name that I see every now and then on various jazz recordings, but I never seen an entire album with him. Sir Charles Thompson, the pianist. And this is Sir Charles Thompson's Sextet and Band. which means that it's one smaller band and one bigger band. It's not recording from 53 and 54. Roy Eldridge, the Krupa years. So it's a really nice big band, the Gene Krupa Orchestra, but not only, because this also contains tracks with a band led by a man named Freddie Rich and a whole bunch of names I never heard of, with the exception for maybe Benny Carter, that I know who, of course. But I never heard of Freddie Rich Orchestra, but it's very, very interesting and very great. So this one I have as a cassette copy, but I felt like when I got the chance to buy it for a very low price, of course I wanted to have it. This is Birdland All-Stars at Cagney Hall. Sarah Vaughan, Charlie Parker, Stan Getz, Billie Holiday, Les Young, Count Basie, live at Birdland. No, at Cagney Hall, sorry, Cagney Hall. A double album set. Very, very interesting. Some early jazz, really early jazz. We have the JorgenS, which is a band I never heard of, but as I'm still in my searching for very early jazz, I felt like this was very interesting, with a recording from 1923. And finally, the System. It was a soul band in the 80s that had some hits, and this is, from what I understand, their biggest success album from 1987. 80s soul. So, those were what I have found for the past months. A whole bunch. I hope it didn't see it as too long, but let's see what the rest of the year will bring. So with that, I hope that every one of you have a really nice time, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. Take care and so long.